you. We may have a few others joining us, but we're going to get started so that we can be timely with and respectful of everyone's time. Welcome to Roundtable for April of 2025. My name is Matt Pagliaro. I'm a leader in Holmen, Wisconsin, and also the commissioner, Roundtable commissioner for the council, planning these meetings. And I just realized that I left the slide off with some of the meeting information, but just so everyone is aware, this meeting is being recorded. You probably saw that. It's available if anybody needs to get that information on the Council Roundtable web page, as well as the slides will be available a little bit later. Please be mindful of background noise. Use mute if you need to. And please also give your name and unit in the chat so that we can get attendance and we know which units are getting this information. So without further ado, we will get into tonight's agenda. As you can see, we have a lot to cover. And so we have a safety moment coming up from Chester, volunteer spotlight on our council mail team and office helpers. And then we have a special guest speaker from Freedom Honor Flight to tell us about that organization. So we welcome Kevin, and we'll hear from him in just a moment. Our Scouts BSA breakout will focus on the Life to Eagle process, as well as Eagle Boards of Review and other related issues. Our Cub Scout breakout is going to focus on planning for your PAC's annual program, and then we will get into our council updates. So I'm going to turn this over to Scott Safransky, who, welcome Scott, one of our recent Silver Beaver Award winners, is going to do our opening for us.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please, Scout salute or hand over your heart. Repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. And then we should have a Scout oath slide, right? Good. Please, Scout sign. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2. And I believe I'm supposed to talk a little bit about the Scout Oath. And as you all know, there's an awful lot there, so I'm not going to try to talk about the whole thing, but I did recently see something that takes an interesting look at the interrelationships in the latter parts, the second and third parts of the Scout Oath, on helping others to help other people at all times, and duty to self, physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. It kind of pulls these things together. True strength in a leader isn't just about physical ability. It's also about the strength of character and stamina to put others before ourselves. It's about recognizing that we are all on this journey together and that we all need a helping hand from time to time. At all times means we don't pick and choose when to be helpful, and that can demand a commitment to be aware, that is, awake to the world around us, and the strength to go a bit further in helping. There is also a moral commitment. It's not just when it's convenient or when someone is watching. It's a constant commitment to being helpful to all, no matter who they are or where they come from. A true leader, often today referred to as a servant leader, needs to strive to combine strength, mental acuity, and moral commitment in order to get the best out of themselves in service to others. That's it.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, so on to our safety moment. So I'm going to do it. Is Chester on? I don't see Chester on. All right, so safety moment was Gaga Ball. There is a link here for information about that. We did talk about this a little bit in the planning. And the biggest thing here is probably we talked about making sure that we're trying to keep the ages of the kids playing the game relatively similar, and be aware of kind of that surface that's in the Gaga Ball area, and also making sure that the scouts and whoever else is playing has some adult supervision there to keep everybody safe and playing fairly. Chester also wanted to remind us that there's a little bit of help that's needed in the health office at camp because there is a health officer is required for every council event. He will be at many of these, but if he is not able to be there, he's looking for some assistance from others. So if you have anyone in your unit who's a healthcare professional, please email, or if you know of anyone, please email that information to Chester at the email on the screen here, the Camp Decorah Health Officer at gmail.com, so that he has a pool of people to contact if needed. All right, and then we have some information about our mail team and office helpers. So Justin, can you let us know what these people do to help out at the council?
Yeah, we have a lot of great people who come into the office to help us with different tasks around um, things that we have going on. Chester, he's not here tonight, but he's one of our kind of biggest helpers. So I do want to give a big shout out to all the things that Chester does. Not only has he helped with the mail team, but he also does all the little odd jobs, helping us keep the place clean. These little tasks that we wouldn't even think of. He really keeps us in shape there and does a lot of good things for helping us out. Those little things that sometimes we miss over or can't get to because we're running all over the place doing a lot of things. So Chester helps out a lot with that, but then we also have a really great mail team. So Chester and his wife, we've got the Tholes who help out as well, the Mitries who come in and do a lot of great work with helping us out. Harvey Geary as well, he comes in and gives us a hand. I'm betting I'm forgetting some people, but there's a lot of great volunteers who help us out, especially when there's hundreds of envelopes to fold and stuff and put stamps on and seal. That's a lot for one person to do, and having a great team to help put all of that together helps us get mailings out and get all that stuff done for us. So we want to really thank them, and we appreciate them more than they could ever know.
All right, thank you, Justin. Are there particular days of the month where help is needed?
Typically they come that team helps us out like Tuesdays or Wednesdays during the day. So if that's something where you find yourself having that kind of availability, reach out to us and we can kind of put you on our contact list. So typically, again, like I said, Tuesday, Wednesdays during middle of the day kind of time is when we'll have those teams coming in. So if that's something where again you want to help out, reach out to anybody at the council office and we can put you on that mailing list to let you know when our next big mailing's going out. And I do think we've got a big one going out this week that Amy's got going on either. Well, I think she said Wednesday or Thursday for that one.
All right, great, thank you. Okay, so we're going to get into kind of our main topic for this month, which is to learn about Freedom Honor Flight. So I'd like to welcome Kevin Kuchar, who's currently I believe the president of the organization. Is that correct, Kevin?
That is correct. And you guys can all hear me okay?
Yes, we
Very
can.
good. Well,
So
first of all,
welcome.
go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say welcome, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Matt. First of all, on behalf of Freedom Honor Flight organization, I want to thank you all for the tremendous support that you've done in the past by coming and helping us with the send-off. And we'd always encourage you guys to have any members of the organization, including the adult members, to come out and help us send off our veterans in the morning. You have no idea how much that means to them. And I also want to tell you, this takes me right back over 50 years ago. I was a Weeblo and a Boy Scout, so it's been a while since I saw that stuff up on the screen. So thank you. So Matt sent me a group of items that he would like me to outline, and then when I get done with that, I'd like to briefly open the floor up if anybody has any questions in particular. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of Freedom Honor Flight. Freedom Honor Flight, based out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, is a totally volunteer organization, a totally volunteer board of directors that work together to make arrangements for two flights, one in the spring and one in the fall, to Washington, D.C. to take veterans men and women, all branches of service, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, so far out to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials that are built in their honor and to honor the fallen, those that did not return. We started our particular operation in 2008, but you should know that we're part of a nationwide organization called National Honor Flight Network, of which currently there's 129 hubs year-round or nationwide, and those are located in 45 states. And we have been, as I said, active since 2008, and so far we've accomplished 31 flights. Our 32nd flight is going to be going out in a couple of weeks on May 3rd. In fact, we have our orientation for the veterans and the guardians happening this coming Sunday. So who do we serve? We serve the veterans and their families from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Now, the World War II veterans are getting a little long in the tooth, but we still see one or two want to go on each flight. Korea veterans, we still have a few of those, but the vast majority of the veterans that we fly now are Vietnam era veterans. And why do we do this? It's simple. We want to honor the veterans and their service. And particularly, we want to honor the memory of those who lost their lives in the conflicts that we support. So how do we fundraise? Actually, we fundraise primarily at this point through monies that are contributed from Legion clubs, certain service organizations, and we don't, pardon me, I have a family member trying to get a hold of me for some reason. Just contributions at this point. We are not currently part of any major organization, although we've had support from Festival Foods and also Quick Trip. They've given it opportunities to provide materials and support for us. And what does a flight day look like for veterans when they travel to Washington, D.C.? Well, it's a full day. Veterans arrive at our hangar, which is at Colgan Air at the La Crosse Airport. By 6 o'clock in the morning, we try to get them through security and onto our airplane, wheels up at 7 o'clock. And then we head for Washington, D.C. We go direct into Reagan National. And we then go to a number of the memorials: World War II, Air Force Memorial, Iwo Jima, Pacific Theater Memorial, Arlington National Cemetery, where we'll spend some time at the Tomb of the Unknowns and watch a changing of the old guard, Vietnam era veteran or memorial, Korea memorial, as well as the Lincoln Memorial. And this year we're going to be doing to one or two other ones that we haven't gone to in the past. And we also do, if we have time, we go to the Pentagon 9/11 Memorial. So it's a full day. We get back to La Crosse about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and everybody's tuckered out. And the question you guys have is, how can scouts get involved to help? And the most important way is to come to the send-off in the morning, so that you can help us get those guys onto the airplane and give them an opportunity to see you in action. So this flight that's coming up is going to be happening on the morning of Saturday, May 3rd. Our program that we provide, it starts, as you see, about 6 o'clock in the morning. We'd like you to be there by 5:45 at the latest. And the location is at Hangar 4 at Colgan Air Services at the La Crosse Airport. Now that, as you probably all know, is on the east side of the airport at the FBO, or Fixed Base Operations, the opposite side from where the terminals are located. So, any questions at this point?
Kevin, I got a question. How can somebody become a guardian for one of the flights? Is that a possibility?
Well, the easiest way to become a guardian is to know a veteran that wants to go on the flight. Guardians at large, we've got about 600 people that want to be guardians. But the easiest way is if you have a veteran who wants to go on a flight and they know you and they respect you and they ask you to be a veteran or a guardian on the flight, then you just have to make sure that we fill out an application. that he also fills out an application and you both make a note that you want to be on that flight with that individual.
You mentioned going through security. Do the scouts and other leaders have to have IDs or things to be out there?
Yes, everybody that flies has the same rules and responsibilities that any other air passenger would have. You need a current photo ID that's issued by a government. A perfect example is a driver's license. Real IDs will be required after our spring flight because that rule comes into play right after our flight. We got lucky that it's not happening before the May flight. And you might be interested to know that we have our own TSA security at the airport that we go through, and they basically, we pre-vet everybody that's going on the flight. So TSA already knows who you are before you even get to the airport if you're either a veteran or a guardian. And they just verify that you are who you are, that you have your photo ID and it's current, and then you're on the flight. So it's a lot simpler than it would be if you're just a normal air passenger. And when we come back through security, and of course, this is all subject to change, but so far, for quite some time now, when we come back through security at National, the TSA just verify that you are who you are, and then they salute and send you right through security. You don't have to take your shoes off and your belt and all that business. So it's kind of nice. I think somewhere along the line, when we first started out, we all had to go through normal airport security, at least when we came back. And somewhere about the second year, I'm guessing that somebody on Homeland Security had their dad or their grandpa come through and they realized that this wasn't a target audience that they need to worry about with security. So things have improved on that mark for us. Next.
You're talking about the individuals that fly on the plane, but the scouts and their parents, they do not need identification and go through a bunch of rigmarole, do they?
No, only the folks that get onto the airplane have to go through that identification. If you're there just to support us, once everybody's on, once everybody's been moved to the point where in the secure area by the TSA and vetted, then, as you know, you'll be escorted out to the flight line and then placed into the area so that you can support the folks.
We did that last year with the group, and it was very, very memorable. And my granddaughter wanted to come back and be there when the flight came back, so it was a good experience for her.
I'm glad to hear that. Anybody else? Okay, well, Matt, it looks like I've at least touched on the subjects that you wanted.
Yes, thank you for being with us, and thank you for all you do for the for Freedom Honor Flight and for the veterans, and also for the opportunity for scouts to come out there and to support the
Well,
veterans.
we really appreciate the scouts coming out. You have no idea what it means to the veterans to see the young ones come out and support them.
Very good. Thank you for joining us.
Very good, and thank you. And I'll just hang up now. Thanks for inviting us. Take care and keep up the good work, you guys and lady. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, at this time, we're going to move on to our breakouts. And so we'll get everybody in the correct room. And we've got a good amount of time here for discussion this evening, which is good. So we will try to be back. Let's try to get back at about 7:45 once we get going.
All right, the rooms should be open. I didn't automatically send anybody. Let's see, I'll try to assign some people that I see that joined after I assigned them to rooms already. If you're not in a room yet or have not been assigned one, feel free to pop it into the chat which one you'd like to go into.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. And so we're going to get into some updates for things going on around the council. So we'll get right into that right away. First of all, reports. So Scott, do we have a district report from Scouts BSA? You're muted, Scott.
I go to unmute my mic and some news flash comes across. I do have a brief report. I mentioned to Matt that this is kind of interesting because, and this is a good reminder for Matt, don't turn things off when we get to the end of this roundtable because we've got a meeting. But much of our material is a month old, but we are working as a committee right now on providing a sort of a commissioner support group as a committee. And we will be assigning committee members to each unit in the council, scout unit or venture crew, as a way of periodically checking in, kind of doing unit health checks and visiting and being another resource for your units and hopefully integrating, your units into the council and the commissioner corps. So that information is going to be shared tonight, and we will be doing that. And that's probably the most important thing. Kelly's organized that. And again, we're hoping, the other thing I guess I ought to mention is that we've got an approach that I don't want to talk about until the committee's had a chance to review it, but we've got an approach to offering merit badge days, and a person who's offered to be a kind of a low involvement or not quite like Andy Olson, but somebody who's involved in the administrative parts of coordinating the merit badge days. So that's a good direction to be moving as well. So that's it, I think, for the SBSA committee.
All right, thanks, Scott. I didn't see Steve on. Kate, have you got something from Cub Scouts? Is Kate still on?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm really excited about all of the things that are happening in Cub Scouts. Of course, the District Pinewood Derby is coming up, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But some other things to mention are the Easter egg hunt, which is open to the public. And that is going to take place this Saturday, I believe, at 10 a.m. out at Camp Decorah. And there's some really exciting things planned for that. And so great opportunity to invite other non-scouts to come out. And it's going to be an amazing time, a lot of wonderful ideas and activities planned for that. And Mama Bear and Cub Day, which is one of our free activities for all Cub Scouts on May 10th. And again, the Pinewood Derby, which we'll revisit shortly. And then there's some programming that is going to be a part of the spring camporee for Weeblos and Arrow of Lights.
All right. Thank you, Kate. Okay, Joe has an update on youth protection for us.
Yeah, some of you may have seen in the newsletter that came out last week that we have a policy update here inside the council. So as a reminder, youth protection training is required for 100% of registered adults in scouting. That's anybody that's over the age of 18. So if you have an older Scouts BSA member that turns 18, say in December of his senior year in high school, as soon as he or she turns 18, they're required to have this training as well. This also includes some of the lesser seen adult volunteers, such as committee members or chartered representatives. So it's 100% of any of the adults inside our unit. As of now, that training is required to be current every 24 months. So every 2 years. The big change that's happening is once somebody's training expires, they are going to have their membership as a scouting volunteer suspended until that training is up to speed. The communication cadence on that, somebody is receiving a communication from Scouting America 90, 60, and 30 days prior to their training expiring. You probably have all seen that occur. And then our council training committee is also doing a direct communication to people 30 days before their training expires. So there is a notification period for these adults, but we cannot have people participating if that training is not current. What is happening once somebody's training expires and they're suspended, they are notified, and then the unit key 3, so the unit committee chair, Cub Master, Scout Master, and Charter Rep are also notified so that they're aware that, Bill Smith is not able to participate at this time until he gets his training up to speed. So I won't go into any further details, but that's the big item to know.
All right, thank you, Joe. All right, we want to highlight some of the accomplishments of the youth in the council. So several Eagle Scouts over the last month. So congratulations to Levi Miller from Troop 67, Isaac Brand, Troop 53, Colton Schrader, Troop 46, Joseph Dobson from 168, Caden Wilson from Troop 18. There's a familiar name there, Logan Pegliero from Troop 91, and also Scott Helgerson from Troop 91. Congratulations to all of those people, and what a celebration. A lot of really interesting looking Eagle projects there as well.
Oh.
And we want to also congratulate some scouts for some of our Cub Scouts for completing the Arrow of Light. We've got a couple from Pack 77, Brady and Liam, and from Pack 91, we've got Liam. So congratulations to them and their leaders and families and everybody. Lots to celebrate in the council. All right, getting into training. I don't know if I saw Lisa on. Somebody from the training committee want to talk about some of these upcoming opportunities?
Well, I can start and John can chime in. I don't know that I need to go over every one. Wilderness first aid is required if you're taking a group up for high adventure. Some adult leader needs to be wilderness first aid trained, and that is going on in a couple of weeks. Baloo training for Cub leaders and ITOLS training for Scout leaders are being offered about mid-May. And we've got people I know registered for BSA ITOLS. We will also be offering ITOLS at the summer camp weeks, along with Scoutmaster Essentials training. National Youth Leadership Training. Dave Foy made an unpaid announcement during the Life to Eagle program that the Scouts breakout, noting how valuable and important that was for getting Scouts ready to do the kinds of things they need to do for Eagle. This is not good news. We have, as far as I know, still just 3 participants registered. At this time, in past years, we've normally been kind of low, but we've been at 9 or 10. We've got to have, within probably less than a month, at least 24 and ideally 30 registered if we're going to offer the course. So, we've done everything. I've called units. We've sent direct letters out to Scouts that were qualified to become participants. If you've got anybody who's qualified, if you've got anybody who's close, if you've got any Scouts in your units that are talking about, yeah, I think I want to go, but haven't registered, they need to register today, tomorrow, or the next day. And the next day is almost too late. Because if by the next roundtable, we don't have the critical mass of Scouts to participate in this program, we're probably going to have to pull the plug and it will not be available. So if you've got Scouts, obviously if they register and put their deposit down and we don't get the numbers, the deposits will go back to the Scouts if we have to cancel the course. Mm-hmm. But if they're thinking they want to take NYLT this year, they got to get registered. They've at least got to get deposited. There are No Scout Left Behind funds. I know I've run into a number of people who have this year said they're nervous about finances and such. But this is such a great program, and I like to say I'm not biased, but I am biased. I am really devoted to this. I think John and Harvey and Lisa and Carissa, who are our adult leaders, are all very devoted to this. We've all got years of experience. We've got a really solid group of youth staff. And so I could probably ramble on for a while here, but I think I've made my point. We need them registered. We need them
Yeah.
registered.
Scott, I'd like to chime in just with an additional word on that. Again, if you have scouts that are making good progress and are Star Scouts or Life Scouts, this is a great program to join in on and contribute to. So I'd really encourage you to make that part of your troop program, to consider that. That would strengthen your program and give you additional leadership to leverage on scout outings or camps.
I have known of troops that have, encouraged youth to go and paid part of their fees out of their troop treasury. And that's a way of getting that up too.
I'm going to add two
so
things.
John, yeah.
I'm going to add two things, Scott. One is that if you have scouts that are eligible but choosing not to go, if you can please let Scott or Lisa or me know what their reason is, that helps us problem solve getting to our numbers. Our concern if we don't run this year is that much of our staff is in the 17 to 18 year range, and it's going to be very difficult for us to put a staff together for next year. So we're literally almost at an existential point here. We really need kids to sign up.
Yeah.
That's my cheery good news.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have cheery good news. This is worrying. And for what it's worth, we've heard from other troops and other councils that are having similar problems, or other NYLT programs that are having similar problems. They can't get staff. They're having trouble getting participants. In one case, they don't have a scout master and assistant scout master. So I think it's just a rough year, and but that, as John says, we're at a point where it's really hard to put together a staff next year if we don't have those participants coming through and graduating to being staff next year.
If you are able to help us quantify why people choose not to this year, that's information that we can pass up to the region, and the region will be gathering that as much as they can, and that helps, at the bigger picture level. So that information would be very helpful.
I have a question. Do you need adult leaders from the units to attend the camp with the scouts?
No.
Don't take this the wrong way, but we don't want you there.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar enough with the program to know if we need to send adult leaders along.
We're looking for new adults to join our team, which is a very low-key thing the first year, but we don't want unit leaders there because we want the scouts completely immersed in our created troop. And if we have leaders and parents present there, that disrupts that dynamic, where we welcome that you come and visit and check out what we're doing. We'd love to have people come and see, but we don't want obvious presences because that upsets the team building and the patrol building dynamic and the troop building dynamic. Does that make sense?
Yes, actually it does. It answers a lot of questions for me. Because that was kind of one of the things that I wanted to know about whether or not I sent my son or not, if he needed to have adult leadership to go with.
Absolutely not. No, that's a great question.
Thanks.
And Sarah, the letter just went out last week, so I'm glad to see you got the letter this week. That's in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Scott, you mentioned there's maybe been some concern with funding, and so we do have a little bit more information about the funding activities, NYLT, but other scouting. So Justin was going to give us a few updates about this.
Yeah, so our No Scout Left Behind program is there to be utilized by anybody that feels like they need it, whether it's covering a portion of your funds, all of your funds, whatever the scout needs. So don't forget that that's here. It's a dedicated fund that people are putting money into that is specifically meant to help people who need it for anything that they need help with being covered. We don't want anything like cost to be a barrier for any scouts to attend programs. We think that any scout that wants to attend a program should have that option. So don't forget that program is there. If you have anybody who even just mentions, well, we're on the fence, we don't know if we could cover the whole cost or any of the costs. If you hear that that's the case from other scouts, or if that's the case for you, just know that that's there to help. People can sign up for it themselves, or as a unit leader, you can definitely utilize it on behalf of somebody if they need it. So don't forget that that's there. I grew up needing that kind of program to help me get through scouts, and I'm really grateful that it was there to be able to help me. I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am today without assistance from other people to help. So don't forget that it's there to help anybody get through any program that they need.
Excellent. And then there is a fundraiser going on right now as well.
Yeah, not too much more on it besides what's there. If any Cub Scout in the council should have gotten it in the mail, a sheet that walks them through selling it. If Scouts BSA unit wants to utilize this fundraiser, let us know, and we can either get the sheets printed off for you or send them your way if you'd like to print them off at home yourself. $15 per package. There's a lot of fun different flavors. I believe like $4.50 out of each of those sales will go directly back to the scout to be able to utilize for any scouting programs, uniform costs, or anything like that. So again, if funding is something that you need help with, fundraisers are a great opportunity to raise money for your scouting experiences. Reach out to Ashley if you've got any questions. Got her email there and phone number.
All right, thank you. Okay, Kate mentioned the Easter egg hunt. Is there anything else beyond what Kate mentioned to cover on this?
It'll be a lot of fun. We've got about 50 people coming out to camp this weekend. We've got tons of eggs that we're going to be hiding all over the athletic field and around. We've got the Easter Bunny coming. We've got lots of fun prizes donated from a lot of local businesses. So free movie tickets to go to the movie theater. We've got tokens to get free ice cream from Dairy Queen, I believe, and a couple other businesses around. So a lot of cool things that were donated that you can win and get from going out and hunting those eggs. And there's for sure going to be a little gift baggie going home to everybody who registers. Only $10 per individual who's going to be an egg hunter. So yeah, come on out. It'll be a lot of fun. Easter Bunny's going to be there.
All right.
Can
Good
they
time.
just show up that day or they gotta pre-register?
We would like people to pre-register if at all possible, just so we know that we have enough supplies the day of. We will be more than welcome anybody who does show up at the door, but supplies will be limited for those individuals who show up without registering.
Okay, very good. And then also Saturday we have Beaver Day. I don't know if I saw Justin Pitts on. He was going to cover some of this, but there's information that is on the slide there. Some of the things that are going to be done, and it does say there's a free stay at Camp Decorah for anyone who wants to help on Saturday. So, Julie, hopefully that answers your question with that.
Yep, just please register if you're planning to come out. We are providing lunch on Saturday, so that's helpful for us to know in that regard.
Okay, very good. All right, and then Kate mentioned the Pinewood Derby, an exciting event. Kate, are you going to talk about this, or Justin, who's got this?
I can talk about it. So I'm super excited about this. In our Cub Scout breakout session, we were just talking about, some of the most memorable parts of scouting for, adults who talk about scouting and former scouts, Eagle Scouts. Everybody talks about the Pinewood Derby, and the council-wide Pinewood Derby is just an extra special opportunity for families to get involved, to re-race those cars that you've already used, or maybe make a new one. There's an open class division as well. So that is coming up on April 26th. It's going to be at Camp Decorah this year, and it's free for everyone. There's going to be some really amazing radio personalities and MCs on site who may or may not do some songs, I've heard. Yeah, it's just been this is my third year working on it, and it's just a really fun event, really well attended. Registration and check-in, you can see, start at 10, opening ceremony 10:45, and the races will start at 11. So there's also things like a photo booth, Lego cars, and there's some craft stations and things. It's super engaging for children of all ages, and again, even adults have shared how much they've enjoyed participating in the last couple of years. So I encourage everybody to bring your favorite Pinewood Derby car and show up.
One thing I'll
All
add
right.
really quick, Matt, before you flip, there will also be,
Yep.
there is food available that day for purchase as well. I believe our unit out of, was it Centerville or Arcadia? Kate, you'll have to remind me.
Galesville, Troop 61 is going to be covered.
Yep, Galesville Troop 61 is going to be there with concessions that day. So if people are wondering, well, what am I going to do for lunch? We got you covered. Bring some cash with you. Being at Camp Decor, there's no ATM on site, so cash is king for the Derby.
All right, thank you, everyone. All right, and then coming up the weekend of May 2nd through the 4th is the Spring Camp Bree. This is primarily a Scouts BSA event, and it will feature the Search and Rescue Merit Badge this month. But as Kate mentioned, there is going to be programming for Webelos and Arrow of Light Scouts out there during the day, so they are welcome to sign up and attend. Younger Cub Scouts, this is just not an event for them. So Webelos and Scout and Arrow of Light Scouts. Those Arrow of Light Scouts are also welcome to participate in the. There's going to be a campfire that evening where there will be a crossover recognition for them. So whether they've already crossed over to a troop or whether they've yet to cross over, they can come out and be recognized by the whole council. So that's a fun event. There will be an Order of the Arrow call out at that fire as well. And there will be elections that can be held. So if your troop needs to hold an Order of the Arrow election, we're gonna work it out so that you can do it right at the camporee. Just make sure you bring a list of those youth that are eligible for Order of the Arrow if you want to do that. And then one thing we're going to do at the campfire as well is we would like to do a flag retirement, and we would like all of the units there to participate. So we'd like each unit to bring a worn flag that we can use as part of that flag retirement ceremony. I think that about covers most of Camporee. So sign up is open. The website is there. So we hope to see a lot of our scouts out there.
Hey, Matt, quick question on the Weeblo activities. Is that separate from the Scout BSA activities, or are they side by side, or what are the activities for the Weeblos?
Kate, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, so they are going to be working on their own adventures, and then we'll do some parallel with Weeblos and Arrow of Light working on their adventures, and then some shared activities with the Scouts BSA. We need to make sure our programming is consistent with Scouting America guidelines. And so we want them to feel included and a really special part of this event. And yet we also want to offer them some of their own programming that's specific to them and their needs. So does that help you out at all?
Will we get information on what adventures
Yes.
will
That
be
will be
offered?
coming out very shortly. Mhm.
Okay, because I got the dead meeting on Sunday, and I got a lot of parents with a lot of questions.
Okay. I will work on
Thank
getting
you.
that clarified and out. Thanks, John.
All right, thank you. Okay, Kate mentioned Mama Bear and Cub Day. Other than date and time, do we have any programming updates with this, or are things still being developed for this one?
Yeah, we had a brief meeting and talked about some of the activities in the office. It's gonna be fun. It's all oriented around mama bears and their cubs. So Mother's Day themed activities. We're gonna have games. One thing that we're planning on doing is like a purse bingo. So if you've got like certain things in your purse, going through it and marking off the different things that are in there. a lot of different things like that. So crafts that you get to take home. We're gonna be doing cupcake decorating. Whether those cupcakes are gonna make it home or get eaten right away there, that'll we'll see which one happens there. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Just ways for mama bears to connect with their cubs and have a good time the day before Mother's Day out at Camp Decorah.
I see this as midday. Is lunch included in this as part of the day?
We had not discussed having lunch. We'd be more than open if you bring your own lunch and want to do a little picnic out at
Okay.
camp. We'll be having some snacks and stuff, but not like a full lunch provided with it being a free to attend event.
Sure. Okay. All right, and then coming up at the end of the May, there is a sporting clay shoot. Other than the date and things, is there anybody involved with this that has more details to share at this time?
Yep, I'm working on this project, so join us Friday, May 30th at Woods and Meadows. It's an afternoon event. Shooting will start about 2 p.m. If you're not familiar with sporting clays, you walk around a course, so similar to golf. However, you're utilizing a shotgun at each station to shoot at clay pigeons that are coming out in a variety of different angles or directions or speeds. It's really quite interesting and fun. You do not have to be an expert shooter to have done this. I would say if you've, you know, been involved in this in the past, you would be able to participate. So you don't need to be an expert shooter. This is intended as a fundraising event. All of the dollars go back to Camp Decorah maintenance. We've got some needs out there that we're trying to address. So I saw there's a question about a weekday, offered on a weekday in an effort to engage the business community there, which I know means that there's some people that may not be able to attend. There, if you have questions on that, you can reach out to myself or Joel Thole directly.
Is there an age limit on this?
So any youth is welcome to attend. However, any youth needs to be in attendance with an adult. So if you're, there's a 14-year-old or there is a 17-year-old, either one's acceptable as long as you're there with an adult.
I hear it's going to be a blast.
On that note, we'll move on to, so this is a little bit further out there, just something to get on your calendar, save your date. The Lawn Social will be on June 19th. It's going to be out in West Salem this year, so I'm sure more information will be coming out about this. I think I already saw a postcard about this as well, so hope to see people out there. Few other save the date. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's gonna be so I heard about it and I am super excited. Yes, look at that. I hear it's gonna be I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but kind of that cowboy theme. I just sounds so fun, and just hearing the ideas, I can't wait for the Lawn Social. I'm so excited.
All right, awesome. Yeah, looks like a good time. All right, a couple of other save the date items for events coming up in June. I mentioned that June OA induction weekend. There is lifeguard certification running out at Camp Decorah June 8th and 9th, and I did see there was a note in chat that this is at a reduced cost, and youth must be 15 or older to take this. But a good opportunity there, especially if you're looking to get someone certified as a lifeguard in your unit. And then we heard about the Chippewa Valley Air Show at an earlier roundtable, but just keep that in the back of your mind. And I believe some information went out to those that were in attendance at that breakout. Next month, so this is the last online or virtual roundtable of the year. We're going to be in person next month. We don't have the sites exactly lined up for that yet, but watch for information about that. But it's always good at the end of the year to get together in person, meet face to face, discuss things, and there will be lots of handouts, including the program guide for 2025, 2026. I just want to say, since this is the last time that we'll all be together virtually, I want to thank everyone that's a member of the planning team for these roundtables, and also for everyone that has attended these roundtables and been getting the information back to your units. We wouldn't be able to do it without everyone's support and everyone's help. So thank you very much. We still do have the incentive going on, so that goes through May. So please attend to get your free nights out at camp. All right, with that, I'm going to turn this over to Joe for a key three moment.
Great. Thanks a lot, Matt. Lots of great content today. And I want to kind of draw everybody's attention back to the beginning and just the high level of appreciation that Kevin had for the scouting organization and the impact that our scouts have had on the local veterans involved in Freedom Honor Flight. It's always, anytime that we hear somebody from kind of outside of our scouting family appreciate what we have going on, I just think that's a really special thing. So one note to make the group aware of is there is a transition that's going to be occurring in the council here at the end of May. So at the end of May, I am going to be moving on to a different role. My family and I are moving out of the area, actually. So that means there will be an opportunity for somebody else to be working in the council, providing leadership. But you know, I'm around until the end of the month, so end of May. So there's time to say hello if you see me in the office or out at some sort of a scouting event. I want to note what incredible volunteerism we have in the Gateway Area Council, and really what a honor it's been to work with everybody directly, and what a something that I'm just so very thankful for. Thankful for all of you and what you do for scouting, and thankful to have worked with all of you directly. Reflecting on scouting, volunteerism is a huge component in our organization. There's a lot of other places that volunteerism is important too. We see people volunteering in sports, volunteering in veterans organizations, volunteering in other community places. But I'm a firm believer that if you would draw out a math equation and equate the hours that our scouting volunteers are putting in, multiply that by the passion, and multiply that by the impact that you provide on kids and families and communities, it is a far greater sum than what you would see in any other organization. And that's really a very, very special thing about scouting, and just want everybody to know what a significant impact they make on kids, families, and communities through their time. So appreciate everybody, appreciate any interactions that we've had together over the last 6 years, and what a positive thing that's been. And I certainly hope to see each and every one of you sometime in the next 7 weeks. Thank you all.
Joe, on behalf of myself and all of the other scout leaders and volunteers, I want to thank you for your vision and your guidance and your leadership over the last several years. You will definitely be missed, but we wish you and your family the best in this transition. So thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Good night, everybody. We will see you. Well, you know, roundtables will be kind of scattered. Watch for information about where you can meet at a location that's close to home, and hope to see you all soon. Take care.
And SPSA committee members, stay on.